Nancy Armour from USA Today Sports, and once again here with Gary D'Amato from Journal Sentinel, all-purpose columnist, golf expert. We have just wrapped up day 2 of the U.S. Open here at Erin Hills, and kind of surprising, but we're pretty much right where we started the day. 7 under is the lead.
Yes, we are about where we started the day, except there's a lot more people around that 7 under.
Yep.
And I think the biggest surprises of the day were, of the top 18 players on the leaderboard, Nancy, only 0 have won a major. only 0 have won a major championship. That's as low as you can go. And the top 3 players in the world ranking missed the cut and are gone for the weekend. So, what do you expect to come tomorrow?
Well, there's a possibility. We were just talking that the skies are starting to darken here. And I think that there's rain in the forecast tonight, and I think that will change the course. Paul Casey was saying, he's one of your 4 leaders right now, by the way, at 7 under, was saying that if the course stays dry and the sun is out like it was today, that it's going to bake everything and it's going to get really treacherous. That's the word that he used. He actually was very excited about that. I don't know that everybody else will be. But if it does rain tonight, it's going to soften it up, and I think we'll see, maybe more rounds like we did yesterday. A couple guys going really low. Like today, I think we had 2 guys who were at 65, Matsuyama and Chez Reavie. So maybe we'd see a little bit more of that. But yeah, tomorrow I would think that we'll see a little bit more scrambling too. What about you?
Yeah, I think that if the course does get wet, I think it's going to compress the scores still. I think there's going to be a lot of guys shooting 2, 3, 4 under, and there's still going to be a lot of guys near the lead come Sunday. I kind of hope that it dries out a little bit, because I think the guys who are really in control of their games and playing great, maybe 3 or 4 of them will sort of separate from the field a little bit and leave some of the pack behind a little. But I think if it does rain, we're going to have a lot of guys going into Sunday with a chance to win.
You mentioned the names of the people who are not here, and in fact, just right before we came out here, I was in front of, unknowingly, Dustin Johnson, #1 player in the world, who is making his flight arrangements trying to get out of Milwaukee tonight. So he's one who's not here. Rory McIlroy not here. Jason Day not here. What about the people who are here? Paul Casey, Brooks Koepka, Tom Harmon, and
Brian Harmon.
Brian Harmon.
Tommy Fleetwood.
And Tommy Fleetwood. I'm mixing them up.
Yeah.
Those are your 4 leaders. Ricky Fowler didn't have a great day, but he is 1 stroke back. Out of that, kind of first two groupings, who do you like?
I still like Fowler. He had a bad spell in the back 9. He had 3 consecutive bogeys. Up until that point, he was in control. He was 9 under, leading the tournament, and sort of had a stumble there, but maybe he got that little bad stretch out of his system. Certainly we know how talented he is, and he's only 1 shot off the lead, so I can't imagine that he's gonna fall off the leaderboard. I think he's going to stay there till the end.
And I think he's probably going to be a little bit angry, too, about the way he played, because he had everything working, and then today it was just one of those days. Another person who had one of those days in both respects was Paul Casey. Started off with a birdie to get a share of the lead, and then went bogey, par, snowman, bogey. Yeah. And then he made 5 consecutive birdies. So in a span of 11 holes, he went share of the lead, lost 5 strokes, 6 strokes, and then picked them all back up. I mean, just a crazy round, and he's one of your co-leaders right now.
Yeah, it's funny. He came in and said it's not too often you play a round where you make an 8 on your card and you're still happy at the end of the day, but that was the case. Yeah, he had a crazy up and down roller coaster round. But, that just goes to show what Erin Hills can do. Even if you're in total control, you make 1 little mistake and you can make a double or a triple out here.
Yeah, and it was really 1 bad shot on 14 that just killed him.
Right.
Speaking of good shots, Steve Stricker stuffed his approach shot to about a foot on 18, which pretty much delighted everybody in Wisconsin, or at least all the people who are here today. He's hanging around for the weekend, as is
Jordan Niebrugge from Mequon.
Mm-hmm. I'm just going to let you say that for the rest of the weekend. So that's good. They both made it on the number. What do you expect for the 2 of them for the rest of the weekend?
It's really good for Jordan that he made the cut. He had that great British Open 2 years ago when he tied for 6th as an amateur. Now he's a young professional. He's playing on the Canadian Tour, or the Mackenzie Tour in Canada. And this is going to be really good, I think, for his confidence. As far as Steve, it's great he made the cut, because someone asked him if all the trouble he went through to get here, trying to play more tournaments to get world ranking points. He didn't get in that way. Wrote a letter to the USJ, was declined a sponsor exemption or a special exemption. Didn't get in that way. And then he had to go out and qualify in 36-hole sectional qualifying and did it. Someone asked him if it was worth the trouble, and he said, absolutely. He's having a time of his life. He'd like to be five shots better, he said, but the crowds have been super enthusiastic and cheering him every step of the way. So it's going to be fun to see both those Wisconsin guys play on the weekend.
And 8 strokes back, if I'm doing my math right, which is no sure thing, that is make-upable depending upon how the course plays, or no?
I don't know about 8, just because there's so many guys bunched up near the top. I'd say anyone within 6, though, I think has a real good chance. But of course, you know, you're right. One of those guys at 8 could shoot the 65 tomorrow and vault up there. But there's so many guys at, you know, within 4 or 5 shots of the lead. I think it's going to be hard for a guy from way down there to come up, because some of those guys are going to play well in that lead group.
Who was good or bad or indifferent? Who was your surprise round of the day today?
Okay, it's your turn to say the last name. Xander Schauffele? Is that how you pronounce it?
I think so. Schauffele?
Schauffele? Yeah, we're close.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. Just the fact that he's still on the leaderboard, and the fact that an amateur, Cameron Champ, is on the leaderboard. Those two guys, no one would expect them to be there after 36 holes, and it'll, again, be fun to see if they can stay there. That's going to be the trick now.
You mentioned that of the top 18, none of them have won a major, and the last 6 majors have all been won by first-time guys too. What's the explanation for that? Are we hitting a point of just kind of like democracy or equality in golf, or is it just one of those streaks?
I just think it's one of those streaks. Of course, when Tiger was playing great, he was winning all the majors, or a lot of them, and so we had a repeat major winner quite often. And same thing with Phil, and those two guys aren't here, so they won a bunch of majors together. So I think it's just one of those cyclical things in golf. You know, remember when the Europeans were winning majors, and what was wrong with the Americans, and then, you know, so I just think it's one of those weird things that just happens.
It's kind of fun to see, though, if, you know, getting guys, you know, especially we've got a couple guys who are near the top who've been best player never to win a major, and it's kind of fun to see them shed those titles. Okay, so your thoughts tomorrow. What's your bold prediction for tomorrow?
My bold prediction is that we're going to see a log jam going into Sunday. I think there's going to be 15 players within 3 shots of the lead, and, you know, roll the dice. Any one of them can win it, I think. But I like Ricky Fowler, though.
Okay, you're sticking with him. I'm not giving a prediction because my prediction at the beginning of the week was Dustin Johnson, and we see how that turned out. So, we are going to wrap things up from the second round. I'm Nancy Armour from USA Today Sports, Gary D'Amato from the Journal Sentinel. Thank you for tuning in, and you can follow along on the web, jsonline.com and sports.usatoday.com.